Mr. Salimullah, Director, Islamic Banking Department, State Bank of Pakistan. Mr. Shamshad Nabi, Chief Executive Officer, Mutual Funds Association of Pakistan. And Mr. Irfan Siddiqui, CEO of Mizan Bank Limited. Mr. Nadeem Naqvi, who's the Managing Director of the Karachi Stock Exchange, is on his way, so he should be here in a few minutes, inshallah. We'd like to begin with the recitation of the Holy Quran. For that, I'll call Brother Asim Hamid up to the stage.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Say, He is Allah, the one and only, Allah, the sovereign. He begetteth not He was begotten, and no one is comparable to Him. Sadaqallahu al-Azim.
Now I'd like to invite Mr. Hamad Rasool, who is one of the directors at the AlHuda Center of Islamic Banking and Economics, to give the welcome address. Hamad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear brothers and sisters, the guests, Asif Harif Sahib, Commissioner, Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, Brother Salimullah Sahib, Director of the Islamic Banking Department, Irfan Siddiqui Sahib, and Shamshad Nabi Sahib. Assalamu alaikum. It is indeed a privilege to welcome you all on behalf of AlHuda Center of Islamic Banking and Economics on this very special occasion of this Islamic Finance Conference with a special focus on Islamic investments and funds. In the past, as you have already learned from your past experiences, that AlHuda Center of Islamic Banking and Economics has been very actively working on different conferences locally and internationally on different aspects of Islamic banking and finance. But this conference is a unique one, being especially focused on the Islamic funds and investments. For this concern, it is one of the very unique and the first experience from AlHuda on this subject. Previously, we have been organizing conferences, international conferences, not only in Pakistan, but also in South Africa, Kenya, UAE, Abu Dhabi, and Sri Lanka, and rather Mauritius as well. So all of our conferences have specifically been focused on different aspects of Islamic banking and finance, and exploring the new developments and products on Islamic finance and the concerned Sharia scholars and standards on different issues. It is again important to inform you that Islamic banking in Pakistan has been flourishing so good in over the last almost 9-10 years that it has now reached almost 1,000 branches in Islamic banking department, and with the 5 full-fledged Islamic banks and 13 other banks working on Islamic finance products. In addition, we have very good support and very good different other sectors of Islamic banking, like takaful companies, different investment funds, especially in the sector of Islamic with a specific focus on Islamic investments. We have, by the grace of Allah, almost 15 asset management companies who have launched Islamic investment funds. With the name of almost 29 issues in different other funds and managements. And Islamic funds industry especially has been so much growing and gaining such a popularity that it has even been considered in some aspects as the top and leading Islamic funds of Asia. Over the last 6 years or so, it has also grown very successfully with the advent of takaful business and subuks as well. Surely I expect to have a very good learning experience from our learned scholars who will be presenting their experiences and papers on the different aspects of Islamic funds and investment and other allied areas. And with the hope that you will gain generally from their experiences as well as learn on different issues of Islamic Sharia, the trading mechanism and the investment plans and other earnings purification processes which are especially vital in the Islamic fund investments area. Hopefully, all the best to have a very good learning experience. Thanks a lot.
Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Salimullah to the stage, to the dais, to say a few words with regards to this event.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Dear Imam Siddiqui Sahab, Ahib Sahab and Shamshad Sahab and their colleagues, Assalamu alaikum. This is indeed a pleasure to be here, and I would like to congratulate AlHuda and its management for continuously arranging such events and such programs that are highly needed for the growth of the industry. Why I'm saying for the growth of the industry? Because the lack of awareness and understanding of Islamic finance products and Islamic economic system has been one of the key impediments in the growth of Islamic finance. And with such initiatives, we are observing and we have been witnessing that the awareness levels about Islamic finance and Islamic economic system are increasing, and that are having its impact on the overall growth and development of the industry. So, congrats to AlHuda for continuously arranging such events and such programs. And let me say it very categorically that the State Bank appreciates and welcomes, rather encourages all such initiatives. Although this one is meant for the Islamic funds and investment, and the State Bank is not directly overseeing this sector, but we have our heart with the Islamic finance initiative. That's why we felt and we thought it necessary to give our appearance and to give our nod to all such initiatives. That's why I'm here and giving my full support to all such initiatives. And I'm very much positive, inshallah, that this program would be very, very productive, and we will be able to develop some new, we will be able to develop some recommendations for future direction of the industry, as well as the overall objective that we could have better understanding of the Islamic banking and finance and insurance and the Kafil initiatives that would be achieved, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Almighty, the Islamic banking industry, and rather the Islamic finance industry, I would say, is maintaining the strong growth momentum. And this is true both globally as well as domestically. Globally, the industry is growing somewhere around 15% plus annually for the last so many years. And when we see the local market, the local Islamic banking industry is growing continuously for the last 7 years at a rate of more than 35%. And right now, Alhamdulillah, we are more than 8.5% of the industry, of the total banking system. And most probably, inshallah, we will be able to close this financial year 2000, this fiscal year, the calendar year 2012, somewhere at around 10% of the banking system. And I'm very much positive as well, inshallah, that by 2015 we will be closing at 15% of the industry. So the kind of growth momentum we have been maintaining, that gives us the optimism that inshallah we would be able to achieve those levels within this time frame. And that also gives us the optimism that inshallah the ultimate vision of transformation of the whole system, say in 20 years time or 30 years time, the Islamic finance system would be able to provide such solutions to the needs of the real economy that everything would be done through Islamic ways. I'm not saying this because this is something which is the requirement of faith, but I'm saying this with full confidence in the ability and in the utility of Islamic finance to meet the needs, to meet the financial services needs of the real economy. Slowly and gradually we are witnessing that the acceptability levels, the recognition levels of the Islamic finance industry are improving. 10 years back, people were really skeptical about this initiative, whether it would be successful or not. Now we are witnessing increased level of acceptability that yes, Islamic finance is a rather better alternative. It is providing more stability. It is more prudent. And but the world has witnessed this ability of the Islamic finance during the financial crisis of 2007 and so onwards. Why the Islamic financial institutions were having relatively better performance and they were showing resilience. Was it the case that the overall risk management systems of the Islamic finance industry were better? Or the overall HR of the industry was better? Or the regulatory mechanism for the industry was better than the conventional system? It was not the case. All these things were at most at par with the conventional system. But the inherent checks and balances and strengths of the Islamic financial system and the Islamic economic system that helped the Islamic financial institutions to be resilient during the crisis. So we are very hopeful that inshallah the acceptability would further increase as the time, as we would be able to prove with our experiences that yes, this is a better alternative. And let me share some of the numbers of the industry with you. The calendar year 2011 is a remarkable year in the history of Islamic banking in Pakistan. For the first time, we crossed the profitability of the industry crossed the 10 billion mark. The return on assets of the industry, Islamic banking industry, is over 2%, whereas that of the overall system is 1%. Return on equity is also better than the return on equity of the overall banking system. So we are ahead of the industry right now. And let me say something about the about the non-performing assets. When you talk about the non-performing assets, it is less than 8% for the Islamic banking industry, and which is less than half of the overall banking system, which is 16%, more than 16%. So these are the results which now earning more acceptability for Islamic finance. And you would see that in very near future there would be more players, particularly from the conventional side. Right now we got 12 conventional banks that are doing Islamic banking as well. But the results of 2011 have been so encouraging that you would see many more, 4 or 5 more, that they would be initiating this Islamic banking activity. Then we got more than 26 mudarbas who are actively operating. There are total 38 mudarbas that are operative, but the actively operating mudarbas are 26. And mudarba framework is one of the, let me say this, one of the most effective frameworks available in Pakistan. But, unfortunately, we couldn't utilize that framework to its true potential. And I'm very much positive that, inshallah, with the increased level of awareness about the Mudarba framework, and such events are very useful for creating that awareness, we would be able to promote, and we would be able to see more growth in the Mudarba sector as well. And then we have more than 5 Takaful operators working in Pakistan. 3 are general and 2 are family Takaful operators. And the kind of low penetration of insurance in the country, that gives huge opportunity to the Takaful operators, I would say. And my perception is, and we are going to test this perception in a countrywide survey as well, not only for the Takaful but the overall Islamic finance industry, that one of the reasons for not opting for insurance are the religious reasons. So when the consumers and the market would be having an Islamic alternative, the possibility and probability of the acceptance is much better than the conventional insurance. And as far as the overall future outlook of the industry is concerned, again, I would be more optimistic about the future outlook and future growth of the industry. There are huge investment opportunities available in our economy. We know that there is a huge need for investment in infrastructure. There is a huge need for investment in agricultural activities. There is a huge need for investment in the energy sector. There are huge gaps between supply and demand of the housing units. So there are huge areas in the real sector which needs investment. Number of areas that needs investment, and that provides opportunity to the financial institutions, be it the banking institutions or the Islamic fund, the Mudarba companies, private equities, the venture capital companies. Opportunities are available. We need to come up with the right kind of products. But there are certain challenges as well, and I would like to highlight one or two challenges. To conclude this discussion. One of the challenges faced by the industry is the challenge of the effective regulatory oversight. What we have seen during the 2007 crisis, that there have been regulatory arbitrages, and the investors, they were shifting to the areas where the regulations were relatively lax. So what I would be emphasizing that the overall regulatory oversight should be effective. We got a dual regulatory system in Pakistan. The banking system is being supervised, regulated and supervised by State Bank. whereas the non-banking system, non-banking financial institutions are under the regulatory ambit of SECP. So there is a need that we could have better coordination to ensure that there is effective regulatory oversight of both the banking institutions as well as the non-banking financial institutions. And you would be pleased to know that there was a SBP and SECP joint forum for the Islamic finance. It was not very active for the last 3-4 years, and we have recently reactivated that forum. And that forum would allow us not only to come up with collaborative initiatives to help develop the Islamic finance industry, that includes both the banking system as well as the non-banking financial institutions. That would also allow us to come up with effective regulatory mechanism for both the banking and non-banking financial institutions. Similarly, that would also allow us to achieve the Sharia harmonization, because State Bank is having one mechanism to ensure Sharia compliance, the SECP is having another mechanism to ensure Sharia compliance in the Islamic finance industry. So this SBP-SECP joint forum would also enable us to achieve that Sharia harmonization levels. And lastly, what I would emphasize, that we need to come, although we all of us are representing the financial sector, but the growth of the financial sector is dependent on the growth of the real sector. So we will have to come up with such products, with such initiatives that facilitates the growth in the real sector. That is very, very true for the Islamic finance industry, you see. Conventional finance could grow without the growth in the real finance, to some extent, not fully. But when you talk about the Islamic finance, it cannot grow without the growth in the real sector. So we'll have to come up with such products, with such initiatives that strengthens our role to facilitate the growth in the real sector. When the real sector is growing, you would see the Islamic finance sector would automatically be growing. So with these words, thank you very much.
For those insightful words, unfortunately, Mr. Nadeem Naqvi won't be able to make it. He's tied up with something else. Instead, he's